Hello everybody and welcome to our webinar on Fantales. So let me tell you a tale about our latest HROnboard release, Fantales. Fantales is currently in our trial environment, so customers, you're able to log in and have a look at it now. We're currently targeting to have Fantales released for next Tuesday. That's the 27th of October. There'll be some emails coming out later today, and reminders once we're 100% certain, because we're still going through some internal testing. So today we're going to go through and tell you about the latest features and what to expect. But before we do so, a couple of housekeeping items. You're all in listen only mode. You can hear us, but we can't hear you. However, you can ask questions. We'll do a Q&A at the end. You're able to, the top of your screen, there's a little Q&A. It's also at the bottom. And then type in a question. And as we go through the webinar, we'll see those and we'll try and wrap up those questions at the end. So who's presenting today? My name's Michael Specht. I'm Head of Customer Success here. And with me today is Belinda.
Hi everyone.
Belinda is our product manager. Belinda will be doing most of the talking. I'm here just to keep things under control. So we'll be going through, taking you through a bit about what's in Fantales, and Belinda will be giving you a live demo. So a bit of history. For those of you who've been customers for a while, you'll have been on a journey with us. We've been going through a really exciting journey in the last 18 months. We've done 11 releases of HROnboard, all lolly themed. We have a real thing about lollies here in the office. It keeps the dev team going, it keeps our customer success team going, and we love lollies. So this release is our Fantales release. It comes hot on the back of our Bananas release back in July. So what is in Fantales? Well, Fantales has a number of really exciting features. Probably the most exciting feature for us, and hopefully for you, is the introduction of tasks. Belinda will take you through the details of tasks, but effectively tasks now allow you to allocate tasks to your new employees or your back office users, internal staff. And those tasks can be induction type tasks, they can be pre-hire tasks, and be all sorts of tasks that you can do that. And that's probably the big, really exciting feature that we're bringing out. Part of doing that is we've made some back office improvements. We've updated the back office UI. The reason behind that is we've had to start exposing the administration side of HROnboard so that you can administer your own tasks. And that, as we were going through that, we realised to be able to do all of the administration, we needed to make some subtle changes. So you'll notice that if you're an offer administrator, if you've been creating offers, the user interface has slightly changed. It's bringing it in line with the candidate portals. We've also done a couple of notification changes on how you can send notifications out and when you can send notifications out. We've also bringing in a term called cross-boarding. That's to roll up the rehires, the contract update type processes. It's a bit of a play on our onboarding, offboarding, cross-boarding. Try and get it all consistent. So you'll start seeing the words cross-boarding in the application. They're probably the really big changes that customers will see. There's also been some minor employee portal changes, trying to make clearer instructions for candidates on how downloading documentation works, just to make it easier for your candidates to accept the job. And then there've been a number of general changes. There's a huge list of changes that are in Fantales, but these are some of the highlights. One of the big changes for us has been the introduction of localization. So HROnboard is now a global platform. We've got the ability to support multiple countries beyond Australia, New Zealand. And many of you may not know that the reason I'm doing the webinar and not Peter Forbes, our founder, is because Peter's actually spent the last week in Las Vegas at the HR Tech Conference, with Rob Cassidy, our head of sales, and they've been launching HROnboard to the globe. And right now they've just flown into London, and next week they're at a Paris conference. So that's part of our globalization, so we can now support the US and UK. We've got a Spanish edition of HROnboard, so it's really exciting for us. And so any customers, any of you out there that might have operations in multiple countries, we'd be really interested in talking with you about how we might be able to have HROnboard support you in all these different countries. The other, one of the general changes is we've been enhancing password security. This is a constant thing. Every release we do, we're looking at improving security, making sure that we're keeping your information and your employees and candidates' information secure. So they're the main highlights, but what I'm going to do is, instead of me just talking about it, I'm going to hand over to Belinda, who's actually going to give us a quick test drive and show us around. Live demos are always fun. So handing over to Belinda.
Thanks, Michael. Okay, so to get started, we're going to start looking at the dashboard, which, as Michael mentioned, with the back office changes, has had a bit of a revamp and a bit of a change of look and feel. So I've got that up on the screen at the moment, which is the new dashboard for the HROnboard. And as you may notice, there's a bit of a difference with colours and breakup of tables. So what we've actually done in this release is break up the concept of offers and exits. Offers used in onboarding and crossboarding, and exits used in the offboarding module. So you can see here I've got this table, offers with you, which is currently showing all the offers that are currently sitting with me, and exits with me, which currently I don't have any, so it's got a blank environment there. What has also changed is that before we did have two tables. One was for your to-do list and then all the active offers. So we've changed this concept up a little bit, and at the top here you can actually see the number of current offers or current exits that are in the system at that point in time. So it basically gives you the high level number, and from here you can actually click through and see more, which I'll show you in a moment. You may have also noticed on the right hand side here we've got my tasks, which I will be going through tasks as well as part of this new release. But we've basically broken up here to show you any tasks that are sitting with you. And again, you'll just get a high level view of some of the tasks here, and you can click to go and see more tasks in more detail. Okay, so other than that, you've still got your create options, but you've got your create offer here showing you the different templates and creating your exits there as well with different templates if you have them set up. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you the current offers. So clicking through the current offers, and this is actually going to take us to the offers page, which is a new page in HROnboard back office. So you'll see at the top here in the menu, we now have the offers and exits options available that weren't there before. So this screen shows me all the offers that are currently active at the moment. So you can see here on this stage is actually all our current offers. I've got that selected, and you can see all the offers that are currently active at the moment, and there's quite a few. We've got 35 in this environment at the moment. You'll also notice at the top here we have some basic statistics. So we've actually removed the concept of the analytics page that we had previously, and we've moved those analytics onto the offers and exits pages. So this one's pretty basic at the moment, just showing me that I've got 35 offers that I've ever had, 35 this month, 35 this year, so basically this is a new environment where we've created them all. But as you'll see over time, you'll see that obviously these numbers are different depending on how many you've created at different points in time. What I don't have in this environment but is part of this screen is that if you have crossboard set up, so they were contract updates, rehires, internal transfers, whatever you called them before, and there'll actually be another stat box here showing you how many crossboards you have, how many specific onboards you have, and then the total number of offers that you've had as well. So you can see that breakdown in statistics there. Okay, so as I mentioned before, we've got the offer screen. We do have this new change here as well, the with filter available. So now you can see offers that are specifically with you or with anybody. So that's currently set to anyone, but if I change this to with me, I'm basically just going to see what's on my dashboard, which is just the offers sitting with me at the moment. So it's a new filter that we've added in there as well. If we go up to the exit screen, you'll see basically the same concept, different colour. Red's the colour for offboarding, and you can see the breakdown there with the stats for the number of exits we have in HROnboard, as well as again the same sort of drop down of filters. Exits does have a couple of additional ones, or an additional one, which is the reason. So you can actually do a filter based on the reason for their offboard as well. So that's a nice little add in there. Okay, so that's basically the dashboard and offers screens. I might go back to the dashboard for a moment, and we can view my tasks. So as I mentioned before, I've got my task set up here. I can actually just tick it straight from this screen if I want to, and say that I've got that completed, or uncompleted if I want to, and then I can view my tasks. And as you can see here, I've got my task page, which has got all my current tasks in here. Now, at the moment, Rick hasn't got many tasks, so I've just got one sitting with him, which is pretty easy for him to tick off or undo. And other than that, we have got some filters set up, so you can just see the tasks that are incomplete. So you're not just seeing every task that ever existed in your environment. You can see all the tasks you have completed, which I don't think Rick's going to have any, he hasn't. But obviously as time goes on, you're going to have a lot of tasks that you've completed. You can see the full list there. And then there's all tasks, so both incomplete and complete tasks all displayed there. So you can easily filter between those tasks and see what's relevant. Okay, so now we've gone through the task screen.
I want to say tasks, it's passive. So it's
Oh yes, sorry, that's worth mentioning. So task is a feature that it will only display if you've got it turned on. And I should mention that with the dashboard as well. Let's go back there for a moment. If you don't have offboarding, for example, you won't see the exits section and you won't see the exit stats. If you don't have task configured, then this task section here and the task stats will also not show up. So these features do depend on what you've got configured. So yeah, we're not forcing tasks on anybody. It is a voluntary thing to do.
And as part of, well, once it goes live, the customer success team will be in touch with all the customers to sort of work out, you know, when and how you want tasks to be turned on.
Definitely. Okay, so Michael mentioned as well, we've also got the addition of the new admin section. So this is the first time we've let customers into the admin area, and it is the very start of it. Our aim is basically to expose more and more admin features as we go. But we're starting off with tasks. So this is basically the admin screen, where you can see we've got some support and guide information here, so you can link to the user guide, our developer guide, get help, release notes, etc. And then on the left here we've got quick links just to the task basically, but you can see here the menu items. We've got a menu item for offers and a menu item for exits, and those menus will actually grow as we start exposing more and more of this configuration to you. So let's start with looking at some of the tasks for offers. Okay, so on this screen at the top here in the green section, this is basically our offer type selector. And depending on your configuration and how advanced you are, you may only have one offer type, and so this actually won't show because you can't select between offer types. But you may have multiple. So for example, if you do have onboarding and cross-boarding, you may have onboarding for different countries. They may all be different offer types. And so basically you can configure tasks differently for each offer type, which makes sense because obviously if you're cross-boarding somebody and they're an internal employee, you're not going to have the same task for them as you're going to have for your new hire. They're going to be quite different. Okay, so let's have a look at these tasks. So you can see on the screen here that we've got 4 tasks already created. These are basically tasks that we want the new hire to do before they start on day 1. And then on the tab here, we've got some back office tasks. So these are tasks that you're going to assign to someone internally to complete before that new hire starts as well. So they've got the list there. Now to add a new task, up in the top right hand corner here, we've got 2 options, new hire tasks and back office tasks. So we'll start with a new hire task, and we basically have to give this task a name. So we might start with something like, you need to watch the Fantales webinar. I'm sure you'll have other bits and pieces that you want to do, but that's just an example. Now that task name is the only mandatory thing you need to complete here. Other than that, you can select when the task is due, and this is optional. Do you want it to be due on their start date, or I want it to be due 3 days before or after they've started. So it is quite flexible in what you choose there. So let's say this one's 5 days after they started. You can add an external link. So if this is, for example, watching a video or doing something where you want them to go to an external page, you can put that link in here and that will link that task for them so they can easily go and find it. And you can leave a detailed description. So you can put in a lot more information about this task and what you want them to do here. It just comes down to what your requirements are. And it's optional again, so you don't have to leave a detailed description. And finally, add to these task lists. So you can see here, I've got the default task list in here. Now with the default task list, when you create a new offer, and I'm going to show you this in a moment, automatically all the tasks assigned to the default task list will be added to that offer. From there you can choose to add other task lists on. So for example, I might have a task list for my white collar workers and a different task list for my blue collar workers. And then I can choose when I'm creating the offer just to add the blue collar task list, and all those tasks will automatically be assigned for me. So you can see here in the drop down I've got blue collar come up. I may choose to add a new task list as well. So I might say, well, this one's actually for white collar employees. And you can see it's come up here, add white collar. I just click on that and that's come up. And I can say, well, I actually don't want it to be a default task. I only want it to be added when I'm for my white collar workers. From there I can click create task. So you can see it's been added to the list and I've got white collar added here. Now you've got filters at the top here where you can actually choose just to see the task for white collar.
So as you can see, the tasks are fairly flexible, and you can change the different lists that you can use. There's also here you can look at if we're looking at the new hire tasks, you can also go and look at the back office tasks as well. These are very, very configurable, and this is the first version of tasks for us. So we're really interested in customer feedback, how you want to use them, and where you see them useful in your business operations, and sort of go forward from there. Going back to the dashboard, and then we're going to go have a look at an offer, and sort of see where the tasks go. One thing that you'll notice here is the screen. If you've been an offer administrator, the wizard process still happens exactly the same, except instead of going along the top of the screen, it's going down the side of the screen. And this is consistent with the candidate portal. And so this is an offer that we've created previously. So we're just going to go through. Most of you should know how to go through and create the offer. We thought we won't go through that whole process. Something here that we've changed, there's a couple of subtle changes here on the documents page. We've made it a little clearer and changed how a couple of the documents work. As you upload documents, we can now upload, you've always been able to upload multiple documents, but we'll go here and we'll find a position description, and we'll upload the position description. And so that's going to upload exactly as it did before, but one of the new features with Fantales is it now basically automatically pulls them together into that single contract. So if we download that contract, many of you will have seen this before, we'll now have the original contract plus the position description in that download. And here's the contract and the position description just added on automatically at the bottom. So that's useful for customers that are customizing the documents that go out on an offer, or you have for specific offers adding in a specific piece of information. So the policies haven't changed, the supporting information, all of that still operates exactly the same. Just a little bit of user interface subtle changes. We might just continue. And this is the task. So if you've got tasks configured, as Belinda said, this is a passive item. You'll now assign the tasks, and by default there might be some tasks that have been assigned by default. And you can add new tasks from here. So if we want to add the white collar tasks, we can now see the Watch Fantales webinar is added automatically from what Belinda added in before. If we want to customize the tasks that are for each candidate, we can delete them after they've been added. And we can even delete some of the ones that are there. So if we deleted the default tasks, and then we go in and go, oh, we need to add them back in again. We can go and select the tasks again, the default list, and the ones that we've deleted will automatically come back. So this gives you flexibility to be able to add tasks to the candidate. These tasks that we're looking at here are for James. There are also specific back office tasks. So what we might do is send off to the new hire. And those users that have used HROnboard for a while, you'll now know that that's gone off. There's been an SMS and an email sent to the candidate. And we're going to look at the candidate side in a couple of minutes. But first of all, what we wanted to show is the offer file. This, again, slightly adjusted user interface, but fundamentally it's the same. So you'll have seen this type of information, but there's a new tab there, which is tasks. So this shows you all the tasks that have been assigned, who they've been assigned to, when they're due, and the status of where they are. And as a HR user or a payroll user, as the offer progresses through, you're able to check in here to see how it's going. Also, the audit trails have a little bit of changes. You're now able to see the tasks when they're completed in the audit trail. So it's just a couple of nice little things to support the tasks within the user interface. So what we're going to do now is we're going to log in as the candidates that we've sent that offer to. And this is going in, this is our demo environment. So it's going to be branded Marin Company. So we're just logging in here. And what we've done here is, just for the sake of the webinar, we've not gone through all of the steps. We've already gone through the steps of the candidate accepting and entering all of their data. We didn't think you needed to watch us enter data through the webinar. So this is the last page. So it's what we call the next steps page. So it's once the candidate's filled in all their information, and we've got their congratulations, their Google Maps telling them how to get to work on the first day. What you can see on the right hand side is the tasks section. So this shows them the task. This is the candidate, shows the candidate the tasks that they have to do. So there we're showing only 5. It's the first 5 tasks that the candidate needs to do. Now you'll notice the first 2 have got due dates of when they're due for the candidate, whereas the last one, update your LinkedIn profile, once you start, doesn't have a due date. So the candidate can see what's going on there. Now the Fantales task that we just added on the others in the back office isn't there because we prepared this offer earlier. So it's really quite easy. If the candidate's completed the task, they can tick it off, or if they want to undo the tick, they can do that as well. So it's really quite easy. Also, if they've got more than the 5 tasks, they've got a tab at the top which shows them how many tasks they've got, all of the tasks there with their due dates, also the descriptions. They can tick them off here as well to make sure that they're done. So it's a very simple, easy way for candidates to update tasks. So that's giving you a little bit of an introduction to tasks. Now, on the HUG, we'll be putting a whole lot more documentation. Now, an implementation like this can't be done without all of our teams. So there's a little bit of a picture of our team. A lot of work from the development team, but a lot of work from all of the other people here. We lovingly prepare HROnboard from offices here in Melbourne, and we hope that our customers get a lot of value out of it. And as I was saying, we're going to be releasing a whole lot of documentation on how to use tasks on the HUG. The HUG is our user guide, so you can get to that from the application, and we might go forward. So on the user guides we'll have the release notes. We'll also have all of the documentation on how to create tasks. We've also gone in there, and there is going to be a page on ideas on how you could use tasks within your own environment. So if you're, as this is self-configured, you can go create your own tasks. We thought it'd be a good way of giving you a bit of a quick introduction on some of the ideas we've got on how tasks might be used within the different areas of HROnboard. Having said that, we really want your feedback. We want your ideas on how you might want to use tasks, where you might want to use them, so that we can sort of incorporate that into our sort of development roadmap. So we're really looking forward to your feedback on it. Now, it's never finished. We're continually developing and moving along. So our next release is Jelly Babies. And that's scheduled for probably early next year. Might be a little sooner. Some of these might come sooner rather than later. But basically the theme for Jelly Babies, one of the big things that will be useful for yourselves is exposing more admin. As Belinda said, the tasks, and you saw at the beginning, task is now the only option in admin. Over time, we're going to be giving you far more capability to look after your HROnboard environment yourself. Some of the things we'll be doing is user management, so you'll be able to update your own and then policies, you'll be able to change your own branding and tweak the company details. And over time, we'll be giving you more and more access so that you can tweak the details of your own HROnboard setup. So with that, we'd like to thank you for your time, and we hope you're loving your experience with HROnboard, and if you are, please do tell a friend. We appreciate it. And you can check out our website at HROnboard.me. It's had a little bit of a facelift. Our marketing team has been busy working away. Just a reminder, so the Fantales release is currently in your trial environment. There will be emails coming out later today, but we are tentatively scheduling next Tuesday to have Fantales in production. And for all of our customers, as Belinda said to start with, the tasks is an opt-in feature. It won't be there. The only real impact for customers once Fantales goes live is subtle change to that Create Offers screen. And it's really just, instead of the menu, the wizard going across the top of the screen, goes down the side of the screen. And that's to keep it more in line, consistent with the candidate portal. So just we've got a couple of questions. First one is, can you upload, so Glenda has asked, can you upload documents to tasks?
Not at this stage.
Not at this stage, but you can have a link to other documents. That's something that we're looking at. So thanks, Glenda. We've got an anonymous, how do tasks appear to the new hire? I think we've gone through that in the candidate portal, so hopefully that's been answered. And we've got a couple of questions. How do people, when people get assigned tasks, do they get reminder emails if they haven't completed the tasks?
Not at this stage.
So not at this stage. They will get, we can set up notifications when the tasks are assigned. What we wanted to do is really understand how you want the reminders and those sorts of things to go out. There are a number of ways that we can implement that. And as my team sort of works with customers to sort of implement this for you and get you going, we want to talk to customers about how they want to be reminded, because there's lots of different ways that could be reminded. Is it an SMS reminder? Is it an email reminder? Do we want snoozers? All of those things, how do we want to do that? Are they different for back office users to candidates? Do we want escalations? There's a whole lot of things. We thought the best way to approach that is to get this in your hands and sort of start getting your feedback on how you want, instead of us telling you, sort of how do you really want your back office users and your candidates to be reminded of those things. So we've got the due dates there and all of that, so we've got the sort of the foundation for it, and we now want to work with you to sort of understand the best way to get those reminders out there. So I think that's all of the questions we've got.
Yep.
Look, once again, thank you all for your time. Fantales, it's been a lot of work's gone into it from the dev team, and we thank them. And hopefully come Tuesday next week, you'll have Fantales. And for a majority of you from day one, there won't be much for change, but we'll be turning on tasks for you when you want them and then getting you set up and going. So thank you, and we'll let you get on with your day. Speak to you all soon. Bye-bye.